All right, my amazing artist friends, I'm trying something a little bit new today with my camera so that you can see what I'm going to draw and my drawing. And we're going to talk about how to draw things that are really, really complicated. I used to be really, really picky about my drawings, way too hard on myself. Every single little stone would have to be drawn perfectly, blah, 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 perfect, which took hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And the end results were always, they weren't, they were satisfying because I knew I'd worked really hard on it and it did look good, but they looked really cold and clinical. Like I had just taken a photograph, but it wasn't a photograph because it wasn't even that good. So I really had to learn how to loosen up a little bit, let go a little bit, and actually make art instead of just making, this very technical drawing. So that's part of what we're going to do today. And it will make you a better artist because you'll be able to look at the whole picture instead of just starting to draw a piece of it. Because if you just start to draw like right here, you're going to run out of room on the rest of the paper for anything else. I guarantee it. It's really hard for your brain to plan spatially and size things. And so that would happen to you probably 9 times out of 10. It's happened to me more times than I can count. So what we're going to do is sketch this very, very lightly first, then go over it. And we're going to leave nuances. We're just going to, tell the person that's looking at this, oh yeah, this had stones. The person that's looking at this, if they want to look at a photograph of it, they can, but they want to look at our interpretation of it. They want to look at our artwork about it. So with that being said, we're going to start. So when you are sketching something really complicated like this, it helps if you start with some basic stuff. I think this middle part here is what I'm going to start with. And I'm very, very loosely sketching. And I've found that if I do this and it's kind of hard to do while I'm talking, I'll be totally honest. If I let my brain just kind of follow these lines and I don't get caught up in how perfect or not perfect they are, my brain actually does a better job. Now see, look at that. I got so caught up in how far apart these should be that I made this way too big compared to this. So there's a perfect illustration for you right there of what your brain will stop and start thinking about things like that. And then, well, you see what happened. So I'm just going to have to forget that. This is why God invented erasers, thank goodness. I'm not going to do anything that has detail because my brain will focus in on that and then I won't be able to get my drawing in scale. So I am just going to do the bare minimal, just like, look, there we go. Instead of these crenellations going each one, I just sketched that what they would look like if they were all together. I can always come back later and add detail, and that's probably what I will do, although I don't know if I'll do it on this video because this video is already really long. So the back, not going to really mess with that. I know this comes up here. I might make this into 2 videos. That's probably a good idea because I do want to show you how to go back and add detail with stuff. I used to hate loose sketching. I thought it was so messy and I didn't think it was elegant. I did not realize how important it truly, truly was. I would spend hours working on something only to have it not fit on the page and have to erase everything and just be heartbroken. Whereas if I had just spent 5 minutes on the sketch, placing it where it should have been in the first place, I wouldn't have had to do all that work and then erase it. And even then, it looks like I'm still going to go off the page, but it's not too bad. I'm not going to complain. It's not that bad. But here's the deal. I can already catch that I'm going to go off the page, right? So if I really didn't want to go off the page, I could stop and fix this. And I've only spent maybe 45 seconds doing this instead of starting to draw these little intricate things and then having to erase it all. So it's not a heartbreaking experience if I have to change stuff. All right, let me just go over here to this tower. And again, I don't want to start looking at detail. And your brain is going to want to look at detail. Your brain's going to be screaming at you, stop, we have to draw that perfectly first. Don't listen to your brain. Sometimes your brain just, it overthinks. That's okay. I mean, I think we're made that way for other reasons, but it doesn't always help. It will be time soon for your brain to get to think. Just tell your brain, hold on. Not yet. Okay, so I've got the basic outlines. Now I've got this one tower left over here. I don't know if you guys can hear someone running a chainsaw in the background, but we are still cleaning up all those branches from the ice storm. My goodness. It's going to take forever. Here's my moat. It doesn't, I mean, this drawing doesn't have to be super accurate, but the placement needs to be accurate. The scale needs to be accurate. That's what we're focusing on right now. The other stuff comes later. Okay, and if you wanted to stop here, great. Plenty of people just sketch. You know, they don't go on and make fancy drawings from stuff. If you don't want to, don't. If you just want to sketch, just sketch. That's a lot of fun too. I'm fixing a couple of things that I just kind of see that need to be addressed. And just going over some stuff. Okay, so there is my sketch. It's very rough, but if you'll notice, I've managed to pretty much fit this on the page. I had to make the flag a little bit shorter, but that's okay. So now I can go in and I can add detail. So let me sharpen my pencil, because you need a sharp pencil for detail, and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, I really hope you can see this. My camera's in a super awkward position. So now I'm going to start adding my first details. I want to go in and make more sure marks. Yes, I know that looks like that, you know, that kind of thing. One thing I don't want to do is draw every single thing, because that's not all that exciting for someone looking at it. Now, if you're drawing it, it probably would be exciting, but it also takes a really, really, really long time. And you don't want to focus on details that aren't really that important. So instead of drawing every single roof shingle on this roof, I will just kind of put in nuances, just a few here and there, to give my looker, whoever's looking at my picture, the knowledge that this texture goes over the whole thing. I also am going in a little bit darker, just like I do when I draw the animals. You know, you start off with that drawing that is sketchy and quick, and then you go in and add darker. So at the edges here, I'm just going to kind of put the little lines where the tiles are, or the shingles, I mean. I'm not going to draw all of these. I'll eventually just kind of come up here and draw a few shingles, just like so. Whoever is looking at this, or I like to say reading this, because visual language is a language, will understand that these shingles go all the way over the roof. Little top here. I'm still kind of being, you know, kind of sketchy. I don't know why sketchy is used as a bad word. You know, like, that person looks so sketchy. I think sketching's good. Okay, I'm going to be totally honest with you. These, I think these are called crenellations up here, where this stonework is. These are not easy. I am not going to find them easy. I have drawn this castle many times. Oh boy. I have messed these up many times. Even with practice, this is not easy. Okay, so I've drawn the front plane of them. I don't know if you can see. There we go. And now I'm going to draw the 3D effect as best I can. Might not look that great. That's okay. Again, I'm kind of being sketchy. I'm not being really particular about whether things are exact. Okay, so as you can see, I've drawn darker and I've put in more detail. Let's go on. I don't even want to draw this back part. Let's go down to the drawing the tower. Yeah. Okay, when you get to parts like this that are very detail oriented, if you will just follow your pencil with your eye around, almost like you're looking with your eye and your hand is following that. And it will pretty much guide you correctly most of the time. You might have to fix a couple of things, but probably not very much. I'm going into making my lines surer and stronger. Holding the book up so you can see, but it's not a comfortable way to draw. And you know what's funny? I don't even like drawing at a desk. I really just enjoy putting my book in my lap. Yeah, I'm drawing this in my sketchbook, by the way. Because I looked at it the other day and decided I needed to put some more drawings in it, fill it up. Most comfortable way for me to draw is just to sit with this book in my lap. So you don't really even need, you know, a studio. I've said that before though. Or a desk, although it is nice. You can use your kitchen table. Okay, now I'm going to draw these little vents here on the portcullis. I'm just going to kind of do this part first. I'm not even counting them, so I am not an architect. And then I will just kind of make them a little bit wider once I have them all spaced how I want them. Ta-da! They're not perfect, but hey, that's okay. All right, now let's get this in here. As you'll notice, I'm adjusting things as I'm going. Oh, you cannot see that. Sorry. I'm adjusting things as I'm going, so I actually fixed this. So sorry, I thought you guys could see. Let me change the phone real quick so you can see all of, there we go. Okay. Let me look again. Okay. So we've got this going down here to the moat. And this comes down just like that. And it's okay if you still need to be sketchy in some areas, like if you're not totally sure, it's okay. Be sketchy until, that just sounds awful, doesn't it? Be sketchy. Be sketching until you are ready to go on and make more details. See, I wasn't ready to do this back here, but now that I've gotten up here, I'm kind of okay with going on. I still might stop because that looks like a lot of mess. I'm going to work on the windows on the front. So a lot of drawing is seeing, looking very closely with your eyes, studying something very closely. I'll tell you guys something. Once you draw something, it's like you have this wonderful memory of it. It really sticks in your brain. I really try to encourage you guys to draw, not only just because it's fun, but it can really help you in school. One thing I really liked was drawing while taking notes in school. And I still do this. I was drawing in church this morning listening to my pastor. This was not always appreciated at school. I had a lot of teachers very angry with me because they said I was not listening, and sometimes I wasn't, you guys, I'll be honest. But I have found over the years that if I can draw, I can actually listen way better. And if I'm drawing what my teacher's talking about, wow, that's so powerful. I can remember it so well, and it really impacts me. All right, let's see here. Yeah, this is not easy. Some of this gets complicated. This is a very complicated toy. When you think about it, you guys, somebody had to draw this out, design it, sculpt it, design the molds for this. This toy took a lot of heart to make, which is one of the reasons I love old toys so much. There were no computer-aided drafting machines in those days. There was no mechanical drafting. Everything was done drawing and by hand. And all the little wonderful thought that's put into it and little small things just make such a big, they work together to make a big impact. Okay, if there's something really complicated I'm having trouble with, like this 3D relief right here, I'm just going to be very sketchy with it. I don't need to draw it accurately. Can just kind of sketch it in there loosely. No big deal. All right, so let's finish up the tower. And you guys, honestly, the last thing I feel like doing is drawing every single one of these stones. So I'm going to put in the important stuff. To me, the important stuff is this banner. And it's hard to fit writing in a lot of times. So you can just kind of pretend like you're writing it. That's kind of what I like to do. And then I'm going to kind of do a little bit of the cross windows here. I can't remember what these windows are called, but archers use them to shoot bows and arrows out of. And then I'm just going to kind of give the impression that there are stones in this tower. Just loosely drawing some, kind of like we did with the roof shingles. Very loosely drawing them. Sometimes I will draw the whole thing. I have a picture, I'm going to try to put it at the end of this video, of this tower that I drew where I did spend a lot of time. Drew everything, made sure everything looked good as much as possible. Oh, you guys, I'm getting tired. Holding this up and sitting the awkward way I'm sitting to draw. It's not really sustainable, so, you know, I'm going to have to hurry. My drawbridge. Again, I'm going over my original sketch and making the lines more sure, correcting anything that needs correcting, and generally being a fix-it Felix. All right, let's see. My dog is in the background. She's snoring just a teeny bit, so if you hear her, it's not me, I promise. It's my dog. She's so sweet. She loves to be in the studio with me. All right. Again, we're back at these really hard things. I'm not good at drawing the crenellations. They are really difficult, so let's just do the best we can do, right? Know your limitations, practice, work through them, figure out how to fix them, what to do. One of the things I've noticed is if you can find another artist that has drawn it and copy them for a little bit, you'll oftentimes learn the secret of how they did stuff. I did that with drawing children. Had such a hard time drawing children for so long. They're not easy to draw. And I finally started copying children's book illustrators and learned to draw children. Okay, now the flag. I just love this flag, you guys, even though it has that weird kind of flat tip on it. There we go. Oh, my hand hurts from holding the book. All right. So we know there's a window here. And another one of those crosses here for the archers. Tell you what, having a castle back in those days was all about defending your castle. And how many points you could defend it from. And how you could get your enemies to leave you alone. Most definitely. I was watching this really cool YouTube video about a real life castle in France. And in France, castles are called chateaus. And I think this was the name of the YouTube channel was Chateau Diaries. Anyway, they went in part of their chateau, and I'd always wondered why they had these little things that hung over, especially a doorway. They showed inside the chateau that this floor just had pieces of wood with holes in between them. And this is horrible. If your enemies were trying to break down your door, you could pour hot boiling things onto them from a cauldron through those holes where it stuck up over, it jutted out over the doorway, so you could burn your enemies and make them run away screaming and vow never to come to your castle again. But I had no idea that's what those were for, and I'd always seen those on castles, and I'd never seen one up close. I thought it was so cool to see the history. That was just a really cool program. Okay, again, I'm just, drawing, just kind of putting stones on there, not doing anything super fancy. Oh boy, now it's this part here that I'm not looking forward to. Okay, we'll just do the best we can. There's a lot of complicated shapes in this. I'm going to do a contour drawing first. That means I am walking my eyes through this. And my pencil is following my eyes, which is not easy. Okay. Might look a little derpy, as my son would say. But that's all right. I'm gonna love it anyway. Yeah, I got a little off, but that's okay. All right, let's see. Let's do the bottom here. It's cutting through. And there's a little step. Not too bad. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Okay. Oh, you know what? We're going to put that trapdoor in there, right? Yes. It's such a fun little feature on this castle. Okay, friends, there you go. Now, if I wanted to further add to this, I could go back in with color. I could go back in with my pencil sharpened again, add some shadow. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to yawn. I need to erase some of these lines, obviously, that are kind of from my sketch that I did. Yeah, there you go. So there's how to take an incredibly complicated thing and break it down into 2 steps to draw it. Step 1 is your really loose sketch where you're just placing everything on the paper where it needs to be. Step 2 is refining. Of course, you can refine, add to. Think about art in layers. And that's pretty much the secret. All right, you guys have an awesome day. I hope you get to try this technique with something. And good luck to you. Bye-bye.